first, I will introduce myself. My name is Aguilar from SA3BE at Cavite State University, Cavite City Campus, taking Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. So good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, Ma'am Aguilar.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
We're fine.
We're fine. Oh, I am so great that you are fine today. Okay, so for our attendance, kindly write your name on our chat box for me to notice that you are here in our discussion today. So for today's lesson, we are going to talk about discussion about different contexts and text meaning and enrich the reader's understanding. So next part. So these are the most essential learning competencies. At the end of the lesson, the learners are expected to identify the words, structure, and purpose of the text. Second, explore the different social and social-cultural contexts to enhance and enrich the understanding of the text. And third, appreciate the importance of understanding the literary context and its meaning to one's own life experiences. So, before we begin to our new lesson, we are going to recall the discussion that we had yesterday. So, what are the discussion that we have yesterday? Yes, Janor?
The lesson that we discussed yesterday is about the conventional and modern genre of literature in the 21st century.
Okay, so yes, it's all about the conventional and modern genre of literature in 21st century. So, what is the difference between conventional and modern genre of literature? Anyone? Yes, Miss April? April, are you here? Nor again, kindly disseminate the information about conventional and modern genre of literature.
Conventional literature usually follow a strict set of rules in writing, while modern literature is more free and sometimes mixes different qualities of literary works to form a more creative and innovative piece.
Yes, okay, thank you so much for giving the difference between conventional and modern genre of literature. So as we can see, conventional is more strict. Why is it? Because before, our writers are very strict when it comes to the words that they are going to use when they are writing, and they are very creative because they are using more literary techniques now when they are writing. Well, in modern genre of literature, it is free. Why do I mean by free? Is it because we can publish a book via online like the Wattpad? I know all of you are familiar in Wattpad. So as we read the books there are a lot of genres, and you can easily publish it there now. So next po. So we have the literary genres here, and you are going to answer it by the meaning and arrange the words. Okay, so number one, a website containing with the short articles called posts that are updated regularly are written by someone who has person thoughts, interests, and experience on the topic. What is it? Anyone? Yes, Miss Janor? Mr. Janor, sorry.
I think it was blog.
Yes, a literary presentation where the author incorporates doodle drawings and hand written graphics in place of tradition font. What is it? Yes, Mr. Mike Leipa. Doodle. Yes, it's doodle. It's doodle fiction. Why is it doodle fiction? Because of doodle drawings and written graphics in the place of tradition. As we can see, before, na, we are love to make doodle via using pen and paper. Nowadays, we are dealing with technology, so it's easy for us to have the sketch by our um, gadgets. Next pa. Yan. An artist and flowy storytelling style originated in Japan. What is it? Yes, Miss April. What is it pa? Mike, sorry. Yes, it is manga. Oh, so next pa. So for our motivational activity, you are going to next pa, watch Mi Ultimos Adios. So first, what is Mi Ultimo Adios in English language? Do you have any idea? Um, yes, Mr. Mike. Again pa. My farewell. Yes, yes, yes. That's good. Very good for that. It is my farewell. Okay, let's watch the video that are presented in our presentation today. Okay, so based on the video that we watch, these are the following questions that you are need to answer. So first, what do you think the poem is all about? Yes, Miss Jenny.
Um, uh, I think it is about the last farewell of Jose Rizal before his execution.
Okay, thank you so much for answering. Yes, it is all about the execution of Jose Rizal, and that was the last one that he wrote before she died. Before he died rather. So, what do you think was the reason why Jose Rizal wrote this poem, Mr. Janor?
I think Jose Rizal wrote this poem because it served as inspiration for Filipino to fight for our freedom.
Yes. So he wants to hope that this kind of heroic that he do in our country is to become Philippines freedom in the hands of the Spanish people. So what would you like? So if you are going to write text or literary works, what would you like to write? Yes, Mr. Mike. If you are going to write, so why did you pick that particular topic? Is it because of the? Is it because of the? Is it because you want to? Yes, it's because you want to become Jose Rizal, that fight for the Philippines to become a freedom country. Another one, Ganor, do you have any thoughts? I share something about if you would become an author.
If I would like to, if I were an author, I would like to write about frontliner because they are the. I opted that particular topic because they are the contemporary heroes in our country, combating. They are competing with with unseen enemies.
So nowadays, no, frontliner is the one who will become a hero since pandemic come. So is it hard? It is hard to dealing with this kind of situation nowadays. So thank you so much for your answer, Mr. Janor. Okay, so next part. So now, this would be our lesson for today. It is about the context and text meaning. So, do you have any guess about context? Do you have any guess? Mr. Mike, do you have any guess about context? Yes, that's correct. Let's talk. So, context, it is defined as the circumstances that form the settings of event, statement, or ideas, and in the way of which can be fully understood and assessed. Also, it involves also for understanding the text after reading, um, we are going to contextualize it. When we say context, no, we are now getting out of the text itself, which leads to a deeper understanding and appreciate of the text. So the purpose of identifying the context of the literary works is to enable the readers to understand the narrative or a literary piece more. This is also involves of the part of the writers to provide information, ideas, concept, and words to develop thoughts to surround the text that a writer plan to write. These are the types. So these are the types of literary context. Next book. So we have four types of literary context, and these are the writer context. So what do you mean by writer's context? Next book. So writer context is knowing about writer's life, values, assumption, gender, race, sexual orientation, and the political and economic issues related to the author. So we have some questions to answer the following question in order to identify the writer context. These are first, who is the author or the writer of the text? Second, what is his or her educational attainment or background? Third, what are his or her personal information? Or how do these affect influence to the text written by the author? Now, in short, you will go to identify the different information surrounding the writer, and you have to link this information to the text that he or she written, and you are going to find out how life of the writer affects her writing. Next. So, in a writer's context, it is based on the writers itself. While in reader's context, we are going to focus on the readers herself or himself. So next one. So reader's context is about the reader's previous reading experience, value, assumption, political and economic issues. So these are the questions you need to answer if you are going to identify the reader's context. So one, what are your prior experiences related to the text? Second, what is your impression of the text? And in short, this involves the previous literary text that you read and how you will going to relate it on the present text that you are currently reading. And at the same time, you are going to touch your own experience and emotions and how these experience relate the text that you are reading. So if we are going to read some textbook or some literary piece of work of one author, we usually admire their story and relate it to ourselves, because I relate it to ourselves, especially when it is something that touches our heart, that makes us relate to that piece of work. So, do you believe in writers' context? They are using experience when they are writing. Yes, Mr. Mike. Do you believe that writers also use their experience when they are writing a piece of works? Yes, not. So usually it is usually the writers. So usually the piece of writers are it is based on their experience. And for example, if they are feel sad, they are going to write it and publish it. Then the readers will catch up what the writers write and relate it to herself. Next part. So another types of literary context is the text. So next part. So it is about the publishing history. It is a part of a larger text such as newspaper, history, events translated in it. So these are the questions that you are going to answer when you are going to identify the text context. So first, you need to look where was the text published. What year was it published? What publishing company printed text? So why do we need to know it? Is it because for us to identify their company background or the publishing background that the text presented? We usually see it in the back of in the back cover of book. As you can see, he said that the company information of a publishing. Next part. So social context and social cultural context. Next part. Text features the society in which the characters live and in which the author's text was produced. So in social context, in social and social and cultural context, we are going to note of these two factors. First, we are going to identify the society of that the author of the text live, and also the kind of society that these are the produce the text. Now, these are the questions that we need to answer when we are going to identify social and cultural context. So first, we are going to look what kind of society emerged during the times when literature was created. So, like Jose Rizal, what kind of society she has have when he is writing her Miss Jan? What do you think was the society of Jose Rizal that day when he was writing his piece?
I think that Jose Rizal is a very famous writer.
Yes, it's very famous writer, and usually the environment that he has during that day is full of war. That's why he sacrificed himself to become the Philippines' freedom in the hands of the Spaniards. So another, what types of government are significant historical about happened during its publication. So like what I said, Spaniard is the one who governed the Philippines before, and it is very sad to say that um, we are we are allies of other countries in our own homeland. So next part. So imagery. Do you familiar with imagery? Anyone? Do you have any idea about imagery? Yes, Mr. Janor, do you have any idea about imagery?
Don't have, ma'am.
I don't have. So next one. So this imagery is a type of it is a senses that we are these are the senses that we are use when we are going to describe, to feel like that something that we want to wrote. It is creating a picture in the reader's mind by using what words that appeal to the senses. So as I can see this, as I say a while ago, it is all about the senses that we are feel, and we use this to make a piece of text that we want to write. Next part. So the types of imagery are so visual imagery. Next part. So in Next, in visual imagery, it appeals the senses of sight. To the word visual, it is pertaining to the sight. So it is the use of the eyes. No? We are going to write all the things that we see in our surroundings. No? To see what was the appropriate topic that we are going to write next. So another is the auditory imagery from the sound auditory. It is appeals to the sense of hearing. So as we read some piece of literary piece, we hear now we hear like we read like the sounds of transportation, the sounds of the animals that are written in their piece. Next pa. So another is the kinesthetic imagery, and it appeals to action and movement. So as we can see, there are fairy tales that are the things that are moving, and we cannot expectedly to have that in our world. So next one. So the literary techniques. So these literary techniques, next part, are the methods the authors or writer or literary piece use to convey what they want to impart to the reader. So authors use literary techniques to become more creative. The literary works that they want to impart to the readers, like they are using they are using simile, metaphor, personification, like that, to become more colorful the stories that they are created. Next one. So first, we're going to read Padre Faura witnessed the execution of Rizal by Don Remoto. Next one. So kindly read, Mr. Mike. Next part. Mr. Janor, can you please read?
About the stars that do not collide in the sky. Instead, he asked me about purgatory. His cheek is still ruddy from the sudden sun after the bitter winter in Europe. And on this day, with the years beginning to turn, salt stings my eyes, I see Pepe.
Next part. So, Miss Jen, kindly read po.
A blur between the soldiers with the Mosers rays and the early morning's star, still shimmering even if millions of miles away, the star itself is already dead.
Next part. So as you can read the poem that made by Don Remoto, you are going to answer the following. Write if that statement is true, and write F if the statement is false. So Pepe is the nickname of Padre Faura, isn't it, Mr. Mike? Why is it false? Yes, Pepe is the nickname or the short name of Dr. Jose Rizal. So, Reader's Context is a publishing history, and it is a part larger text such as newspaper. Mr. Janor?
False.
Yes, because reader's context is all about the readers itself. No? It is is text context, no? Because text context is the one who we are going to publishing those literary piece that we are wrote. So next, star in the place where soul doesn't have a direct place to go, whether it is in hell or heaven. Miss Michelle.
I think it's false.
Yes, it is false because stars is a place when we are going to born or giving a hope to us, and it is uh, it is a purgatory wherein the soul doesn't have a direct place to go, whether it is in hell or in heaven. So for Padre Faura was the favorite uncle of Jose P. Rizal. Mr. Janor?
I think it was false because Padre Paura is the former professor of Jose Rizal at Ateneo de Manila.
Thank you so much for answering. So Padre Faura was the favorite mentor of Jose P. Rizal when he was studying. Next one. So here gets the letter of the correct answer of the following question based on the poem that we are read a while ago. Who is the writer of the poem? Padre Faura witnessed the execution of Rizal. Anyone wants to answer? Yes, Miss D.
Letter D po.
Yes, it is Danton Remuto. Next po. Why Padre Faura was in observatory when Pepe visited him? So A, it was the place where they could talk. B, he was in charge in the observatory. C, the observatory was near at the Ateneo de Manila. Or D, the observatory was near Bagunbayan. Yes, Mr. Janor. What would be the answer?
I think it's supposed to be C.
Yeah. Okay, I start. Yes, that's correct. So 5. Why instead of star, Pepe asked about purgatory to Padre Faura? A, Pepe was interested in the afterlife. B, Padre Faura was sick. Or C, Pepe was hopeless. Or D, Pepe was about to executed. Mr. Mike. Yes, it's letter D because Pepe was about to executed and he wants to pay all the sins or the sins that we have when he was in this world. So next part. So for your assignment, you are going to listen to the following song and choose only one. Identify the different contexts of the following OPM song and explain how the text impact of the song and submit it to our Google Classroom. So these are the songs that you are going to choose, only one. First is Anak by Freddie Aguilar. Upuan by Glock 9, Sa Duyan Maginay by Noel Bersenay. So to sum up our discussion for today, no? So text. So we have the different types of context, and those different kind of context are the writers and reader context, text context, and social and social cultural context, and these all contexts are all equivalent, not to differ understand the text that we are reading now in all literary piece of works that the writers wrote. and imparted to the readers. So, do you have any question about our discussion for today?
No.
Okay. If there's none, kindly submit this assignment to our classroom, and the deadline would be next week. So, goodbye, class.
Goodbye,
Goodbye,
ma'am.
Aguilar.
Thank you for attending for today's discussion.